Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so excited to have you on the podcast. I would love if you could introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you for having me. My name's Kelly Kelsey, and I'm from the UK, near William Shakespeare's birthplace, actually, not far from there. I grew up and live on a horse farm and used to show jump. And my series is actually based in the world of show jumping. I started writing my first book after reading the After series. I have a weird obsession with all things American. Some people find that strange, but I used to model and I have 7 siblings.
I love that. I would love if you could tell us what your books are about.
So my my favourite is forbidden romance. So I tend to write forbidden romance. My debut novel was a student teacher romance, and then I wrote my first series, which is an age gap romance with cheating elements. He has a girlfriend at the time. Um, I don't want to say, when you say cheating, people, it can trigger a lot of people. It's all I will say. It's not black and white. Um, yes, he does have a girlfriend, but so there is the beginning, the cheating aspect. She is his student. She goes to train with him. So yeah, I know it puts a lot of people off, but it's just not as black and white as cheating.
I love that
So
you explained that more.
yeah, because I felt when I released this book that I had to sort of stand up for a bit, because when I released it, the amount of comments I got about it being triggering, and I understand that completely. We're all triggered by different things, but it's just not as black and white. So, and then I released another standalone, which that was more of a revenge romance. I tried my hand at something different. So, and I'm actually releasing my sixth book on the 2nd of September, which is another student teacher age gap as well. It's a bit darker than the first student teacher one I wrote. So,
Amazing. What inspired you to write your books?
um, so I tried writing about 12 years ago. I've always read, but then I tried writing, but I could never do it. I could never put it down on paper how it would you could read it as a reader. So I just left it, and then I obviously COVID hit, and just before, like the January before COVID, we went into lockdown. It was my birthday. My mum actually brought me the After series, and that sort of inspired me to write. And then COVID, obviously, we went into lockdown, and I tried it again, and I sort of read more to get to learn writing techniques and different things. And I eventually started to do it. And it was really strange because I was actually writing romance. It's complete, the final published one is completely different to what I started writing. But I started writing that, and then student teacher or forbidden romance was always my favourite. And I wanted, like I say, I have this thing about America. And it was really weird because I'd come up with this idea for a student teacher romance, and then literally a couple of days later, I'd ordered my partner a travel guide on California, those travel books, because we'd actually booked to go. We were supposed to go, and it got cancelled because of COVID. We were doing the West Coast. I'd ordered him that in July before. So July, when did we go into lockdown? 2020. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'd ordered that July 2019, and it never turned up, never came. And literally 2 days later, after me having this thought idea for this student teacher romance in California, this California travel guide turned up. And I'd been refunded for it and everything. and it just turned up, and I was like, that's telling me something. So I literally stopped what I was writing and I started this student teacher one, and I eventually got there, and I published it in July last year, July 2021. So it took me a while because obviously it was my first, well, proper book that I'd written, but I got there in the end. So yeah.
It's amazing. I love that. When you were writing the books, was there a certain person you were thinking of for who the book's for?
Um, as in reader wise,
Yes.
um, not really. I think there's a big fan base for forbidden romance, and especially student teacher. And I started following a few groups on Facebook and that, and I'd see people asking for student teacher romances and stuff. But that was after I'd started writing it, so I just think it is quite a popular trope, but there doesn't seem to be lots out there. I mean, there's a few, I've read a few, but yeah, there's not hundreds. So yeah, I just personally, for me, it's my I love forbidden romance and all that. So yeah, that's why I wrote another one.
I
I'd
love
actually
that.
started writing another book, and I was about 5,000 words into it, and then I got this idea for this other student teacher one, and I just started writing that. So it just hit me. I had all the inspiration for it. So
Amazing. How long have you been writing?
since January 2020.
Oh,
So obviously I started writing that first revenge romance, it was actually based in London. But then I completely gave up on that when I came up with this idea for a student teacher romance. And yeah, a version of that first book I started writing is released. I released it under The Secrets We Keep, but it's very different to what I first started writing, and it's actually based in America again. So, and it is interconnected with my debut novel. So there is characters that pop up in both worlds. So yeah.
that's awesome. What made you really sit down and start writing?
I guess because I just had the time to do it. I work in events. Events were the first industry to go with COVID, the last industry to come back. So I guess I just had time. I do a lot of big events, and I never really had the time. I could do 4, 5, 6 events, one after the other, and you just never have time. So I guess because we were in lockdown, it just gave me the time to do it and really sit down and focus on it. So
That's so awesome. Do you have a specific schedule you follow when you're writing a book?
I'm one of those people that just goes with the flow. I have the basic story in my head. I know the beginning and the end, but I'm one of those people that will just, I'll write every day. I try and do 1,000 words every day, hopefully more than that. But I write as I go because it just hits me as I go. So
Love that. In your writing space, do you have anything that you have to help you stay focused?
I listen to music. All my books have a playlist. So yeah, I tend to listen to music because it gives me inspiration as well. So yeah, but that's it really.
I love that. I've listened to some amazing playlists from the front of a book before.
I love my playlist. I love doing my playlists at the beginning.
Do you have a favorite writing drink or snack?
No, I'm not. I'm one of those people that will have a coffee in the morning, but I only have one coffee. Sometimes I'll have a green tea whilst I'm writing, but that's about it. Yeah, I don't need food or drinks to to do my writing.
Perfect. I know you said forbidden romance for books you enjoy. Are there any other books you really enjoy reading?
I love mafia. I love motorcycle books. I'm one of those people that read pretty much everything. I'm not so keen on fantasy or PNR, so I try and stay away from those. But pretty much anything else, second chance romance, secret babies. Yeah, I like them all.
I love that. I read across the board. So when we started the podcast, we said we would interview anyone, even if it's something might never read, someone might.
Yeah, exactly. If I enjoy the writing and the author, I will pretty much read anything. I'm not stuck to forbidden romance. That is just one of my favourite genres. So at the moment, I am actually writing a secret baby one, and it's secret baby second chance. So yeah, I prefer the forbidden aspect, but I will. If I enjoy the author, enjoy the writing, I'll read anything.
I love that. Are there
Apart from
any?
fantasy. Although I did read the Twilight books and I loved the Twilight books. So
Yes, that was a good series.
yeah.
Are there any books or authors that inspired you to become a writer? I know you talked about the After series.
Yeah. That was a big inspiration. After reading that, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. But I've read so many authors since then, and I think in some way they all give you inspiration. I'm a big fan of QB Tyler, Lucia Franco, Megan Brandy. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Siobhan Davis. There's so many, but yeah, I think in some way they all inspire something. So yeah.
I love that. When you were growing up, what type of books did you read, and did you have a favorite?
Um, when I was in school, I used to read the Goosebump books. I remember when they used to have the Scholastic school book fairs, and I always used to buy a Goosebump book. Apart from that, I can't remember. I'm trying to think. I know I used to get like like the young adult books all in one. I can't think of them. No, I can't remember. All I remember is the Goosebump books from the book fairs, and I had loads of them.
Now, as an adult, what are your favorite series or series authors?
One of my absolute favourite series is the Off Balance series by Lucia Franco. I love the After series by Anna Todd. I need to go through my reading list just to see. I read so many books through lockdown, well, COVID and that. Well, I can't think of series off the top of my head, but yeah, like I say, I'm a big fan of like QB Tyler, but she hasn't got a series. Lucia Franco's series, the After series. Yeah, off the top of my head, that probably those.
Love it. What would you tell someone who's just starting out with reading again?
To read what they enjoy. I mean, I've had times where I've tried to stick to a book, but you're not getting into it, and that's fine. You can't like everything. So if you're not enjoying it, then just try something else, because there's so many books out there.
So true, so true.
And like I say, not everyone's going to like everything. So yeah.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, what would you tell someone who's just starting to write their own book?
Just go with what's in their head. Just right, because obviously you can go back and edit and do things like that. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. I mean, when I did finish my first draft, and I went over it, I was like, okay. And I did so much editing. But it's just a learning experience. And it was the first book I completed, it was a complete learning experience for me the whole way through. And you can just keep writing because you can always go back and change things.
I love that advice. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
Probably that I'm a bit of an introvert. I am introvert, extrovert. I have my moments. Like I say, with doing events, and obviously I used to model, people would say, well, surely you're not introverted being able to do that. But yeah, I am a bit of an introvert. I'm quite shy as well. And some people take that the wrong way. So yeah. But people don't think that because of what I do in my everyday life. But yeah.
I love that. Is there anything else that you wanted to add or say?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Where is the best place for readers to find your book? I know a lot of readers love to get signed copies, and the best place to connect with you.
So all my books are on Amazon at the moment. I am looking to move to other platforms. To connect with me, my social media. I am looking to do on my website for signed paperbacks. But yeah, to connect, social media, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook reader group. They can go on my website and sign up to my newsletter. So yeah, there's a few ways.
Perfect. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on today. And I'm so excited that you got on and came and shared all this amazing stuff with us.
Thank you for having me.